Okay, Standard 13A states, I can analyze the causes and effects of changing demographic patterns resulting from migration within the United States, including Western expansion and rural to urban migration. So here you're looking for the causes and the effects of why populations are shifting from one place to another in the United States. And we're particularly or specifically going to look at rural to urban. So rural being farms, farm areas, small little towns, to urban, urban being cities. So we have an influx of immigrants during this time period. They're coming in Ellis Island, which is up in New York, and they're also coming in to Angel Island, which is in California. Ellis Island, you have European descent immigrants coming in, and in California, you have the Chinese coming in. So basically, what's happening is everybody wants to go to the urban areas in search of jobs and to kind of get a piece of that American dream that they've heard about and go and make money. So that's therefore you have a rural to urban shift as people move to cities. So here, the test question states improvements in agricultural production, increases in immigration from Europe, advancements in networks of railroad and streetcar lines. Consider the following changes that occurred in the U.S. in the late 19th century. These changes led to. So you're looking at what changes happened because of these three things up here. Is it A, rapid growth of urban areas? B, acquisition of overseas territories? C, elimination of large suburbs around many cities? Or D, movement of people from urban to rural areas? The correct answer for this one is A, rapid growth of urban areas. Because we have people moving from rural to urban areas, we have an increase in agricultural production because we need food. We have an increase in immigration from Europe because they're moving from Europe into the cities, Ellis Island, and then advancements in networks of railroad and streetcar lines so people can be transported back and forth from places. B is incorrect. Acquisition of overseas territories. We're not having anything to do with overseas at this point. That will come during U.S. expansionism. We're not acquiring anything outside the United States yet because it's just now kind of being acquired itself. C is incorrect. The elimination of large suburbs around many cities. Suburbs actually do not emerge until later on. Suburbs are cities outside the main city. So it's like you have downtown as the main city, and you have Pasadena, which is a suburb, or Pearland, which is a suburb, Sugarland, which is a suburb, Katy, which is a suburb of the main city of Houston, downtown, right? D is incorrect because movement of people from urban to rural areas, it's actually the opposite. You have a movement of people from rural to urban areas. The next question, which was question 18, that fell underneath this standard, it says reasons for movement to the cities in the early 1900s. You have greater cultural experiences and entertainment, easier to travel due to transportation advances. It states which phrase completes the chart. So you're trying to find out what goes here. What is a reason for movement to cities in the early 1900s? Is it A, fewer restrictions on immigration? B, fewer demands by political machines? C, greater opportunities for employment? Or D, greater opportunities for property ownership? The correct answer is C, greater opportunities for employment. So why do we have the influx of immigrants coming in? Why do we have the rural to urban movement? It is because people are going to cities for jobs. So you have a greater opportunity to find employment in the cities. So C is correct. A is incorrect because we have fewer restrictions on immigrants. Like I said, there's really only restrictions on the Chinese at this point, and we have an influx of immigrants coming in from Europe. So there's really no restrictions on immigrants here. Not until the 1920s do we start seeing restrictions on immigrants. B is incorrect. Fewer demands by political machines. The political bosses, remember, are bribing immigrants to vote for them as long as they're improving the infrastructure and social services. So this is not really tied to reasons for movement into the cities. D is also incorrect because it says greater opportunities for property ownership. At this point, nobody really owned property in the cities unless you were an entrepreneur or a factory owner. So this does not actually qualify. It's incorrect. Also, we have question 20 that fell under the standard. and it states, which of the following contributed most to increased settlement of the Great Plains? So why are people moving from the cities now to the Great Plains? What are they going there for? So what settled the Great Plains? Was it A, the availability of buffalo, B, the discovery of precious metals, C, a series of federal land grants, or D, a decrease in agricultural production? So here the correct answer is C, a series of federal land grants. So basically, the settlement of the Great Plains was caused by the Homestead Act, and the Homestead Act was a series of federal land grants where the government was giving away land free if people settled there and basically built a home and started a farm. A is incorrect because the availability of buffalo. As the Indian were removed, so were their source of food, which was the buffalo. So the availability of buffalo is very scarce, and that's not what settled the Great Plains. B is incorrect, the discovery of precious metals, because we weren't actually finding metals there. You did have some gold in California and up in Alaska, but the Great Plains did not have precious metals. D is incorrect because of decrease in agricultural production. We already talked about how it was actually an increase in agricultural production as the influx of immigrants came in and people began to move westward.